I never thought the moment that almost broke me would happen under fluorescent lights, not storm clouds. I've landed aircraft with warning alarms screaming in my ears, felt the shudder of metal when something wasn't right, made decisions in seconds that carried hundreds of lives on their back. But nothing prepared me for the day I was told in front of a crowded airport that I didn't look like I belonged in the uniform I'd earned. It started like any other workday. Busy, terminal rolling suitcases, that low, constant hum of announcements and jet engines outside. I was heading to a deadhead flight, just repositioning for an international route the next morning. Nothing dramatic. I stepped up to the priority check-in counter, uniform, crisp stripes on my shoulders, flight bag at my side. Mind already running through weather forecasts and fuel numbers like I always do. Then a voice cut through the noise. Sharp, confident, loud enough to be heard. "That uniform is fake. There is no way that belongs to you." I turned, honestly thinking she was joking at first. You know that awkward half-smile moment where your brain hasn't caught up yet? But she wasn't smiling. She was dressed like money-tailored blazer heels, clicking on the floor, eyes locked on me like she'd caught someone stealing. I told her calmly, "Ma'am, I'm just checking in for my flight." She laughed. Not nervous, not unsure. The kind of laugh that says she's already decided who you are. "I fly first class all the time," she said. "I know what real pilots look like, and you're not one of them." That's when I felt it. That familiar drop in my stomach. Because this wasn't confusion. This wasn't a mistake. This was judgment. People started watching. You can always tell. Conversations slow down. Someone stops scrolling. A guy lowers his newspaper. The agent behind the counter, a young woman named Elena, looked up at me, then at the woman, clearly wishing the floor would open up and swallow all of us. I introduced myself. Captain Jordan Hayes, North Star Airlines. I handed over my ID and license. Real, current, clean record. The woman leaned closer to the counter. "Those can be faked," she said. "I've read about it. People buy uniforms, forge documents. It's a security risk." Then she looked straight at the agent. "You need to verify everything. I don't feel safe." There it was. I don't feel safe. I stood still. Years of training kicked in. Stay calm. Stay professional. Because I knew how this worked. If I raised my voice, I'd be aggressive. If I defended myself too hard, I'd have an attitude. So I nodded and said, "Of course. Take your time." Inside, though, I was boiling. While Elena ran the checks, my beliefs drifted back to where all this started. A small apartment. A single parent working double shifts. Me pressing my face against an airport fence as a kid watching planes lift off and thinking, that's it. That's what I want. Not fame, not applause, just that seat, that responsibility. Nothing about my path was easy. Flight school paid for with loans and night shifts. Regional routes no one wanted. Missed holidays. Years of being the only one in the room who looked like me. I told myself that once I made captain, once the stripes were on my shoulders, it would stop. Standing there, being quietly treated like a criminal, I realized how wrong I was. The agent said softly, "Everything looks valid." That should have ended it. But the woman shook her head. "Then you didn't check hard enough. Call your supervisor. Call the airline. I want real verification." Her voice dropped, but not enough. People like this slip through the cracks. People like this. I felt my jaw tighten. A supervisor arrived, smiling the way people do when they're trying to keep a situation from exploding. He looked at my documents, looked at my uniform, looked at her confidence. Then he said, "We'll run additional verification." Minutes passed, then more. A small crowd formed. Phones came out. Someone started recording. I could feel my reputation being put on trial without a single charge. I finally spoke again. "Sir, I've flown with this airline for 11 years. You can call crew scheduling. Operations, anyone." He nodded, non-committal. "We just want to be thorough." Thorough? Funny how thorough only shows up sometimes. When the checks came back clean again, the woman lost patience. Her voice rose. "I want federal authorities involved. I want security. I will not board any aircraft this person flies." That's when it crossed a line. I said quietly, "You are accusing me of impersonating a pilot. That's a serious federal crime." If you believe that you should be ready to say it to investigators. She didn't blink. I am. The crowd reacted. Murmurs. A man near the back said, "This is ridiculous." A woman stepped forward and said out loud what no one else had dared to yet. "This feels discriminatory." The woman snapped back. "This is about safety, not race." But then she said it. Standards are being lowered. This is what happens when airlines hire for optics instead of merit. That word hit like a slap. And suddenly everyone heard it. Airport security arrived. They checked everything again. Databases, federal systems, all clear. Over and over. Still not enough. She demanded more. Louder now. Angrier. Embarrassed but unwilling to back down. Because backing down would mean admitting she was wrong. And for some people that's harder than destroying someone else. Then the air shifted. I heard my name. Not shouted. Just spoken with certainty. Jordan. I turned and saw Daniel Reed walking toward us. CEO of North Star Airlines. Former pilot. The man who once trusted me to train his own daughter on her first jump seat ride. He looked at me first. His face softened. Then he turned to her, and the temperature dropped. "I'm told someone questioned your credentials," he said to me. "Yes, sir," I replied. He turned to her fully. "And that someone accused one of my most experienced captains of fraud." Silence. Real silence. He listed my record. Flight hours, commendations, emergency landings, the routes I'd flown. He said, "You question someone who has forgotten more about aviation than most people will ever learn." She tried to interrupt. "I was just concerned about safety." He cut her off, calmly. "You insulted safety when you attacked competence based on appearance." Then he did what I didn't expect. He made it public. He revoked her status. Lifetime ban. Effective immediately. Right there. In front of everyone. Phones captured everything. The crowd reacted. Applause. Shock. Vindication. He turned back to me. "Captain, I'm sorry you were put through this." I felt my throat tighten. "Thank you, sir." Security escorted her away. Still arguing. Still convinced she was right. As I walked toward my gate, people stopped me. Shook my hand. Thanked me. One kid stared at my uniform like it was something mythical. I boarded my flight and did what I always do. I flew. Later, the video spread everywhere. Opinions flew just as fast. Some people said it went too far. Others said it wasn't far enough. Policies changed. Training changed. Conversations changed. But here's what stayed with me. That moment could have ended differently. If no one spoke up, if leadership confirmed to hide, if I'd been alone. So I'll ask you this. Was she protecting safety or protecting her comfort? At what point does questioning become harassment? And how many people have walked away quietly from moments like this because no one had their back? Drop your thoughts below. Argue if you need to. Share your own story if you've lived it. Because dignity isn't given by uniforms or titles, it's earned, and sometimes defended. If this story made you uncomfortable, good. Growth usually starts there.